Thanksgiving is right around the corner, which means it's almost time to prepare for that huge feast. Here to share some time-saving tips while also relieving some food stress is blogger and author Shelly Jaronsky. Hey Shelly, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you this morning?
I'm great. I got a great recipe for cinnamon rolls off your blog this morning. So first off, thank you for that. These cinnamon rolls involve using yeast. Baking with yeast can be a little intimidating. You have to pay attention to things like temperature, like timing. Can you just give us the basics and demystify how difficult it might be?
Sure. If anybody is a little nervous about baking with yeast, this recipe that I'm going to share with you today is a fantastic place to start because it is so easy. Bakers of all skill levels will really have no problem with this beginner dinner roll recipe because we're using the Fleischmann's yeast, which is a tried and true, but today we're using the Fleischmann's rapid rise yeast, so it's not only consistently great, it is a quick yeast. Everything happens a little faster because no one wants to be spending all day in the kitchen, especially around the holidays when you're trying to make a lot of things. So this is a fantastic recipe to start with that you can make. It can kind of demystify any worries that you might have about yeast baking because there are certain things that you do have to watch, but none of them are hard. And if you think about yeast as just another ingredient, it really will be, it just takes away a little bit of the stigma that maybe yeast baking has, if you want to call it that.
No, I agree. I think that we think,
so
you know, I don't know how to use yeast. My mother does. My grandmother did. I don't really understand how it works. But it is a lot more basic than you think. And let's be honest. When a person can bake their own bread, that just puts you right up here. That is like the upper level. And when
it's kind of a rock star move. Yeah, it's kind of a cool move.
All right.
Yeah.
So
it is. It's really something that you can kind of pull out.
For sure. The basic steps of a dinner roll.
I'll take you through. Absolutely. So let's walk through. And it's going to seem too easy, okay? But it is. I promise you. You probably have all of these ingredients in your kitchen, in your pantry right now. We've got flour, salt, sugar, milk, butter, water, and the Fleischmann's rapid rise yeast. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your dry ingredients and you're going to mix them together. Just stir them together so they're combined. You're going to take the wet ingredients, you're going to warm them 120 to 130 degrees, just very warm to the touch. But don't get overly worried, you don't want it to be hot. But you pour your warm wet ingredients into your dry ingredients and you form a dough. And so when you have this dough, what you're going to do then is you're going to knead the dough, which is the most important part of making bread. Because what kneading does is it gives it that chewy, airy, light texture that you want. So you don't end up with like a hard, dense little brick, really. So what you have to do is you have to make sure you knead it. And the trick to kneading is you're going to do this recipe for you knead it for about 6 to 8 minutes. And what's fantastic is, like you said, your mom and your grandma, you've seen them baking with yeast. You've probably seen them kneading also. They might have done it by hand. You can do it now with a stand mixer. Most stand mixers nowadays come with a dough hook. You can let the mixer do all the work. You can be doing other things while your dough is kneading. And like I said, 6 to 8 minutes is about what it takes. You know that you're done kneading when you take 2 of your fingers and you just press the dough lightly, and if it springs back, that means it's good. If it doesn't spring back, then you knead it for another minute. It's really, really easy, and if you just try it, I promise you, you're gonna realize that it is a lot easier than you think. Once you've got your dough kneaded, you put it into you make them into balls, because this recipe makes 12 dinner rolls, and you let that rise for about 30 minutes, which is quicker because we're using the rapid rise yeast. And then you pop them in the oven, you bake them for 20 minutes, and you're done.
I have to just thank you. I was taking notes the whole time you were talking, and I'm going to give this a try. I can do it. I can make my own bread. I am woman, hear me roar.
I feel like you can too.
Thank you so much.
I feel like you can too. So absolutely, I appreciate your time.
All right. Impress your family with these delicious treats this holiday season. Bake your own bread, folks. It impresses everybody. Visit the website right there on your screen. That's breadworld.com. Fleischmann's Yeast is a proud sponsor of the Morning Blend.